more than one practice?
There's the one each day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's been a practice.
Oh yeah, I know that.
All right. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Today we're going to just make a couple charts to help you out a little bit. Let's start off with writing the formula if you have the name. Okay. The same question, you're going to ask the same question whether it's writing the formula or writing the name. So let's start off with, I have the name and I want to write the formula. All right, so we'll look at an example here. Let's go with
manganese 3 sulfate.
Is that what's on the test?
That's on practice, yeah.
Manganese
3 sulfate.
3 sulfate. First question you're going to ask is the first element a metal?
It is because it has the Roman numeral, right?
That's one way to think about it. First element of metal. Now, let's talk about how you answer that question. You know whether or not something's a metal because of where it is on the periodic table. To the left or the right of what?
The stutter step.
The stutter step, the stair steps, absolutely. From B down to AT. If you're to the left of that, you're a metal. If you're to the right of that, you're a non-metal. Most things on the periodic table are metals. Manganese, if you find it on the periodic table, is number 25. Number 25 is on the left. It's a metal. Okay? It's a metal. Now, what that means is, if the answer to this question is, let's go no that way. Well, let's go to yes this way. If the answer to that question is yes, then that means my charges matter. And I'm going to get my crisscross my charges for my name. Charges matter, so crisscross charges. If the answer is no, let's look at an example. Let's say carbon dioxide. First element's carbon, that's to the right of the stair step. That means it's a non-metal. That means my charges don't matter. But what that means is I'm going to use my prefixes to write the formula. All right, so for that top one, my charges matter. Manganese 2, come on, baby, there you go. Manganese 3 sulfate, okay? Manganese is what? We already pointed it out. Well, it's a metal, but what is it? Symbol, N. What's the charge? +3. Anytime you have a Roman numeral, you say yes, because that's easy. It gives you the charge. It makes your life easy. Carry on. Manganese 3 sulfate, my charge is +3. Then we get to sulfate. There's something that sticks out on sulfate and it should make you think. Why do you know?
Because it's 8 sulfate.
8. If it's I'd, it comes off the periodic table. If it's anything that's not I'd, go check page 7 and see if it's there.
It's SO4.
And if you use it off page 7, you use exactly what it is.
The charge is -2.
You good, buddy? Okay, you're going to go to page 7, get exactly what it is, SO4 with a -2 charge. I love it. Make sure that you don't confuse it with sulfide, which is going to be just plain S with a -2 charge, or sulfite, which is going to be SO3 with a -2 charge. So be very careful there. One letter difference makes a difference. Then you just have to crisscross. Take these numbers, crisscross them across. How many manganeses are we about to have?
2.
2.
And then you have to put SO4 in parentheses.
And how many SO4s are we going to have?
3.
3. SO4, 3. Now this is going to be important. So that's your final answer for what we're working on today. Okay. Now this is going to be important for what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks. So let's make sure we understand what we just wrote down. How many manganeses is that?
That's 2 manganese.
Easy question, right?
Yes.
2 manganeses. How many sulfurs is that?
Is it 12? That's 1. That's 3.
3. It's 1 in the parentheses, but there's 3 sets of it. There are 3 sulfurs. How many oxygens?
4. There's 3 oxygens, 3 sulfurs.
3 sulfurs. How many oxygens?
4. Is it 1?
How many oxygens? 4.
Oh, that's what I
But I have 3 sets. How many oxygens?
4. 12.
12. 3 sulfurs, 12 oxygens.
Okay.
Because there's 3 sets of 4. Okay? And that's not for this test, but that's coming up later. Okay? So let's make sure we don't let that sneak up on us. For carbon dioxide, it just says carbon. So how many carbons are there?
1.
And di means 2 oxides, which oxide is
Oxygen. CO2.
rock and roll. I'm not adding, Mr. Salibi likes adding polyatomic ion questions to this, but to me, I just remember that if it doesn't say "ide," I need to go to page 7 or to Google polyatomic ion chart if you're not using your thing. You can use that paper on any test forever for chemistry. And you can use the special periodic table that's linked on the Canvas page, any test you want to, and you can always Google for a polyatomic ion chart. Polyatomic, if you don't have your sheet in front of you, Google for a polyatomic ion chart. That for this level of chemistry, that's always given to you. Okay. Now, hopefully you use it enough that you start learning sulfate is SO4 with a -2 charge. But at this level, you probably it's always double check. All right, so let's go the other direction. That was actually, let's do it like this. Let's do it all on one page so that we.
How do you use 3 in Roman numeral?
What are you saying?
3 is like 3 I.
Yeah. Okay. So let's hit on this side. Let's go from our formula to our name. Hey there, Matthew. Good to see you, buddy. So from our formula to our name.
He broke his finger.
Okay. Well, he's with us now, though. Now, here's what's cool. The first question is still the same. Is my first element a metal? So let's just put some examples here down here at the bottom so everybody can see. Let's go. Make sure you don't get confused there. Let's do CO F2 and S2O5. Okay. Same question. Is my first element a metal?
Wait, which one are we doing first?
Either one.
For CO, yes it is. For COF2,
For CO it is, and for S,
it's not.
it's not. Okay. So make some nice little demarcation there. All right. So if the answer is yes, then you have another question you have to ask.
Then, yeah.
Is it a transition metal?
Yes. It is. CO.
All right, calm down, buddy.
Is it CO copper? They use copper.
Okay. Let's deal with our answers. Okay. If the answer is no, that's easy. If the answer is no, you just name your ions. You don't have to put anything special. You don't need a Roman numeral. You don't need Greek prefixes. You just name your ions. NaCl, sodium chloride. Done. But if the answer is yes, what are we going to need?
Charges.
How do you show your charge?
Yeah.
Parentheses with what in the parentheses?
Roman numerals.
Roman numerals.
So how would we find, like, say we...
I'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's finish this chart first. I can't, my dyslexia come out. All right? But we got to go back to the top, because what if the element is a nonmetal? If the element is a nonmetal, that means it's a covalent bond. What do we use to name these guys?
Wait, are you saying if it's
The Greek prefixes.
Yeah.
And anytime you have more than one atom, you go to the polyatomic ion chart. Make sense? All right. So let's try these two down here. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of room. COF2 and S2O5. Martin already told us that CO is a metal. CO is in the middle, so it's a transition metal. So what am I going to need?
Roman numeral.
A Roman numeral. So I'm going to write down cobalt. And like Josh said, I'm going to put the parentheses there to hold my spot for my charge. And I'm going to just name my F. But for everything, you always end, if it came off the periodic table, you always end in I. So instead of fluorine, I'm going to write fluoride. All right, then the only thing I got left is to figure out what my charge is. Start with the charge you know. The charge on fluorine is group 17. -1. Okay, and that's important because I need to know whether or not I've reduced. Did my -1 give me 1 cobalt?
Yeah.
So I've not reduced, right? So what's my charge on cobalt?
1.
You with me, Martin?
Okay.
I'm about to write this.
It's I.
Kick tires, light fires.
That's his favorite thing.
Okay. S2O5, sulfur is a
It's not a transition.
very good. It's a non-metal. So I'm gonna need my Greek prefixes. What's my Greek prefix for 2? Di, which S is sulfur.
Disulfur oxide.
Don't slow down, because what's my prefix for 5?
Oh no, it's disulfur.
Penta, finish the sentence.
Pentoxide.
Pentoxide.
Pentoxide. That's all.
If you put a pentaoxide, I would count it right. But sometimes you can drop the vowel, sometimes you can't. Don't
Like,
stress.
if it's like a vowel and a vowel, you can drop.
Sometimes, but then like you have triiodine, which you put both eyes. I don't know. I don't make the rules.
Okay, on the like chart. Right?
Let me. I'll get you. Pin that to the wall. Let me make sure there's no questions on what's on the board. How about on the chart that we made? I'll scroll back up to the chart and then I'll go on to here. All right. For folks at home, if you don't have any questions, Matthew, you got any questions for us? All right. I'm gonna post this video this afternoon. Use these charts, use your practice for these 3 practices this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Not only am I grading them, I give you the 100 for doing it, but I also am going to write comments if you did something wrong. So be careful to read my comments so that you know whether or not you're doing the things right. Y'all have a great weekend. Remember that Monday is not a virtual day. It is a teacher work day. So we won't have any assignments or anything on Monday. Doesn't mean you can't catch up. Tuesday, we're back to normal, rocking and rolling. Have a great weekend, guys.